Boom! The explosion ripped through the quiet Aliso Viejo afternoon like a clap of thunder from a storm that no one saw coming. Windows shattered, ceilings collapsed, and chunks of insulation rained down on the lobby of Mado Cosmetica. Smoke and dust choked the air, and screams of panic echoed down the street. People on the sidewalk ducked instinctively, some snapping videos on their phones, others running for cover, their shoes slapping against the pavement. In the chaos, first responders arrived minutes later to find a scene of utter devastation. One woman, Ildiko Krajniak, was gone, blown apart as she had her hands on the package that contained the explosive. Two clients, a mother and her daughter, were injured but survived. Their bodies burnt and hair singed, their shock etched into their faces as paramedics guided them to stretchers. Only moments before, Mado Cosmetica had been calm. Nestled on Marble Street, sandwiched between a dermatology clinic, a plastic surgery centre, and the hum of the nearby highway, the spa had been a quiet, unassuming place, known for low prices and excellent skincare treatments. Inside, 48-year-old Ildiko, born and raised in northeastern Hungary, ran the spa with meticulous care. She was a hard-working single mother, dedicated to her son and to her clients, and well known in the community for her skill and warmth. Behind the scenes, the business had been fraught with tension. Ildiko had a complicated personal life. Married to an American man who remained in the picture but estranged, and dating Stephen William Beale, her former romantic partner and business co-owner. Stephen, a 10-year-old widower, had once been a business consultant but had turned to acting, pursuing film roles while also managing the financial side of the spa with Ildiko. Their relationship had shifted over time from romance to partnership to tension, with arguments over money, schedules, and personal boundaries simmering beneath the surface. Stephen was nowhere near the spa when the blast occurred, safely at his home with a new partner, but the investigation quickly circled him as a person of interest. Known for his obsessive tendencies and a decade-long hobby of making homemade rockets, he had both the knowledge and access to explosive materials. Early reports revealed that the bomb had likely been delivered in a package timed for Ildiko's return from a trip to Hungary, suggesting a targeted personal attack rather than a random act. Friends and colleagues described Stephen as both charming and unpredictable, capable of shifting from a supportive partner to an intensely jealous figure when provoked. At the time, witnesses could only recall the moment Ildiko opened the package. One client later recounted seeing her lift the flaps, then the violent eruption, flash, fire, and the sickening force of destruction. Investigators would later note the sophistication of the device, battery-powered, carefully constructed, designed to maximize damage. It was clear that this was not an accident. As the dust settled, emergency crews worked frantically. The surviving clients were rushed to the hospital. Police began their preliminary canvassing, speaking to witnesses and neighbours, taking stock of who had access, and piecing together a timeline. By the end of the day, it was evident that this was a murder investigation, and the focus quickly narrowed to those closest to Ildiko, the people who knew her schedule, who had motives rooted in jealousy, obsession, or financial disputes. The explosion at Mado Cosmetica was only the first act in a story that would unravel a complex web of personal relationships, hidden resentments, and deadly obsession. And for Stephen William Beale and Ildiko Krajniak, the shadows of the past and present collided in a violent, unforgettable instant. As the smoke cleared from Mado Cosmetica, Orange County deputies and investigators swarmed the scene, their eyes scanning the shattered lobby, the debris, and the horror of Ildiko Krajniak's death. Witnesses described the explosion, the package she had opened moments before, and the terror that rippled through the small spa. Investigators began piecing together her life, her relationships, and the complex web surrounding the business she co-owned with Stephen William Beale. Known for his charm and obsession with Ildiko, Stephen became a person of interest almost immediately. Friends noted his jealousy, his controlling tendencies, and his deep investment in the spa's success. Police quickly discovered that Stephen had a history with explosives, once crafting homemade rockets in his garage, and that he had purchased a box and battery matching the ones used in the deadly device. Interviews revealed his obsession with Ildikó, from their time travelling the world together to their tumultuous romantic and business partnership, and his increasingly erratic behaviour as he struggled to control the relationship. Authorities traced his interactions, his purchase history and his digital footprint, slowly connecting the dots that suggested the attack was not random but personal, fueled by anger, jealousy, and a desire for revenge. Yet, despite the mounting suspicion, Stephen maintained a casual, almost flippant demeanour in interviews, explaining his past hobbies, his screenwriting ambitions, and even joking about the events. A behaviour that unnerved investigators but did little to break the mounting case against him.
Before we start, I just want to you're here voluntarily. You came in, drove in on your own. No one from the sheriff's department or any law enforcement agency asked you to come down, told you to come down.
That looked like a nasty explosion. It was large. A large explosion. Ildikó and I are we both signed the lease together. Okay. And we're building this business, and quite successfully.
Any equipment in there that I'm kind of ignorant to the type of equipment that are in these places? Anything that has oxygen or something that may have caused an explosion?
We deal with cream, cleanser, wax. There's no nitrous, there's no oxygen.
Nothing like that.
They talk about it being a medical.
After Stephen William Beale's initial arrest, investigators dug deeper, tracing bomb fragments and chemicals back to his past experiments and linking them to the device that killed Ildikó Krajniak. Witness accounts, purchases of battery and packaging materials, and his obsessive monitoring of Ildikó's schedule painted a clear picture of premeditation. While the first charges for unregistered destructive devices were dropped, the focus shifted entirely to the murder case, where Stephen's erratic behaviour, treating interviews like auditions, joking about screenplays, and demonstrating knowledge of explosives added both intrigue and suspicion.
It's important to be able to mix the chemicals together reliably. You've got to get them completely mixed, and in some cases, you have to be careful that you don't produce.
The first trial ended in a mistrial, prolonging uncertainty for Ildikó's family, but the prosecution meticulously presented evidence of his access, financial motives, and obsessive fixation on Ildikó, showing how carefully the attack had been orchestrated. Expert testimony, witness statements, and the reconstructed timeline of the bombing reinforced the premeditated nature of the crime. Ultimately, the second trial concluded with Stephen found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years, bringing closure to the community and confirming that the bombing had been deliberate, fueled by obsession, jealousy, and a desire for revenge over the business and their past relationship.